Scientists say there has been an a sharp rise in unexplained deaths during the pandemic, deaths that are not listed as COVID related. One Rice University researcher has now been analyzing the data and looking into the cause. Here's Fox 26's Chelsea Edwards.
They're calling it a slow burning background crisis.
The numbers really add up to show that many more people have died during the pandemic than you would have expected in a normal year. And that is on top of the number of people who died of COVID who also had those preconditions.
Rice University researcher John Mulligan crunched the CDC's numbers on deaths by diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and cancer over the past year and a half. He put them in an online dashboard. The blue is the number of deaths expected based on averages before the spread of COVID-19. The orange shows the large spikes in those numbers during the pandemic, deaths that aren't technically COVID related, but can't seem to be explained.
As the months went on, those numbers began to climb.
Studies say this excess mortality is made up of 20 to 36% of deaths that would not have happened pre-pandemic, with some of the most drastic losses attributed to Alzheimer's.
Especially early in the pandemic, there were large spikes in nearly every single state in the country.
Researchers have tossed out theories on how the spikes may be linked to COVID. Maybe people have fallen behind on care, or overwhelmed hospitals aren't testing bodies. Or in the case of an Alzheimer's patient who recovered from COVID,
he or she loses her sense of smell and taste, and then they start to eat less. A few weeks later, a month later, maybe they die. Do you call that COVID?
Mulligan doesn't want the data to devalue the lives of those with pre-existing conditions. He says instead, it proves the need to invest in public health to protect the most vulnerable.
We could ask ourselves, is what we've come to accept as the normal level of mortality in the United States acceptable? And the implicit answer to their question is no.
With excess mortality on the rise again, researchers say this background burn is proof that numbers of COVID-related deaths are worse than they look. In Houston, Chelsea Edwards, Fox 26 News.